Somebody has joined. Strax. Hello, Strax. How are you? Just advertised the stream on a couple of places, and we should get a couple more viewers shortly, I'm hoping. Yeah, another viewer. I feel like I know who the other viewer is. And if the other viewer is who I think he is, there's just a peek at the collection. You already started school? Started school last week. Last week to the day. So, sucks. But I have to work. I'm working as well. I actually just got off work, so sucks. But it is what it is. Let me show you guys something. Something I got in the mail. Now I got this in the mail. I'm starting to collect this series. Now the book is in good condition except for one thing. You can probably hear it already. The book itself is actually in good condition. The pages are good. It's just the freaking cover is not glued. So I have to super glue it sometime. And I don't have super glue. But I can't wait to read the series. The art looks really good. I know Dirge is in this one, so that's really cool. But yeah, so I'm gonna avoid reading this. I mean, I haven't read the first one either, or yet. So, but this one looks really good. I can't wait to read it. Star Wars Clone Wars Volume 2. Victory. And this collects, I think, Republic. Well, I know it's Republic. I don't remember what the issues are. Issue 51 through 53 of Republic and Dark Horse comic book. Star Wars Jedi Shakti. Nice. So yeah, there's that. I've been really trying to collect more comics because I don't have very many. I really have the novels, which I still haven't even read all of them. But I've been wanting to collect because this series, like, it looks really good on a shelf. I've seen the whole run before on a shelf, and it looks really nice. I mean, I can show you the other book that I have. I mean, you can already see, even with the first two, they look great. Plus the Clone Wars, and I don't have much Clone Wars stuff. So I only have 5 other Clone Wars books. I'm also playing Republic Commando. So, and that's been a lot of fun. Not that good at the game, though, but it works. It works. I have the Republic comics on Kindle. Nice. I don't mind digital comics. I mean, I would read a digital comic more than I ever would a book, but like I've never read a digital book in my life, and I'm never going to. But I mean, if it's a comic book, I'll read that. But I prefer physical. But comics are expensive. Oh my gosh. So I know there's 2 other people in stream. I wonder who they are. I hate that you can't see who's in stream. Like, specifically, like, which accounts. But I hope Chris Nelson would join, but he's not going to join. I think he's probably in bed. Is my stream lagging? Glitching? What's everyone reading? The 2 people that are in stream. You ever played Galactic Battlegrounds? That's where my profile picture is from. I thought it was from a comic. But no, I have not played that. The Star Wars games I've played, Battlefront 2, both Battlefront 2s. I've played both. Battlefront 1, the new one. KOTORs 1 and 2. Jedi Knight, Jedi 2, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Force Unleashed, throw in Republic Commando. I'm almost done with that. I've played a little bit of SWTOR. Is that it? I've played some of the Lego games. I mean, I don't count those, but they're Star Wars games. I just don't count them. What else have I played? That's about it, I guess. So, played a lot. I want to play Empire of War. I want to play Force Unleashed 2. I know it's bad, but I haven't played it, so I've heard it's bad at least, which sounds bad. I mean, the whole reason why they had a Force Unleashed 2 because of like clone Star Killer. So it's like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like cloning can be good, but a lot of times it can be overused. But a secondary canon is for content that could fit in the continuity, but it's not perfect. Like the Marvel comics, the old 70s Marvel comics, theoretically it could fit in the continuity. It does fit in the continuity, but it's not perfect. There's a lot of issues with it. So it's basically C canon just has preference. The books that are in C canon have preference over secondary canon. And as far as I know, the Marvel comics are the only thing in secondary canon. I don't know what else. Even all the like the Ewoks Marvel comics, that's C canon. The Droids Marvel comics, that's C canon. The old Han Solo Adventures, or Lando Calrissian Adventures, those two trilogies are C canon. That's it. Even the old Ewok movies and the Ewoks cartoon, the Droids cartoon, that's all C canon stuff. So to my knowledge, it's the Marvel comics and maybe some short stories here and there. But it was mainly created for the Marvel comics. But even then, it didn't really make sense. Some people would say, well, the games were secondary canon, but they weren't. We know they weren't. They couldn't have been. I guess parts of the game are. I don't know. It's weird. Yo, what's up? Jedi Prince series is S canon, but I believe it. No, it's C canon. It's C canon. It's considered C canon, yeah. It's older. It's weirder. Obviously it's weird. I've never read it, but it is weird. But it is C canon. It's not S canon. That's kind of a common myth I see, and I'm not saying you're dumb or anything, but I often see that people will sometimes say that the weirder stuff in the EU, the dumb stuff, whatever, people will say it's S canon, but it's not C canon. So I was told a long time ago that Jedi Prince was S canon, but it's not. It was C canon. If it was S canon, Matt Wilkins wouldn't have reviewed it. It's C canon. And like I said, a lot of people like to say that the older stuff, the weirder stuff, weird, quote unquote. I mean, what's weird for Star Wars? Like, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, that's not the point. It's just a lot of people see the weirder stuff as S canon, but it wasn't. It was C canon. What is the most unpopular era? I think it's the period between episode 1 and 2, because I'd say pre-episode 1. Because episode 1 and 2, between episode 1 and 2, you had Jedi Quest, and that's kind of popular. I'd say pre-episode 1, because not Old Republic, don't get me wrong. It's not Old Republic, it's pre-episode 1. Even, man, that's even weirder too to say, because of the Plagueis book and Jedi Apprentice. I don't know. That's a good... Dawn of the Jedi, that's the least popular. That's my answer. Dawn of the Jedi. All I know is when I told my grandpa that Palpatine had a 3-eyed son, he laughed and shook his head. He likes to go silver. No, that's where he draws the line. Why? And it's not really his son. I mean, that was basically propaganda. It wasn't really his son. And is that really outside of the world of Star Wars? I don't think so. And he says he likes Crystal Star. Crystal Star is not a bad book. I don't think it's bad. It's just strange. But it's not bad. I mean, there's bad parts in it. I don't think the book is bad. It's not good. I'm not going to say that. It's just so out there. It's almost like it's not bad. Now, it's in my worst EU books, yeah, but I don't hate it. The only EU book I'd say I hate is iJedi. I hate what they did to the Jedi Academy trilogy. That's iJedi, yeah. It's always been my least favorite. Plus, I thought the whole second half of it was just boring to me, so I didn't really care for it. Man, where's my drink? It's not in here. I know I took it up here. Actually, no, I didn't. I looked it downstairs. You're thinking of Trioculus. He was Palpatine corruption, but he did have an action with the guy's name. Get this, Triclops. Are you sure? I remember seeing somewhere that no, that wasn't true either. I mean, I know Triclops. I know Trioculus. I know who that is. He's okay. Wikipedia is saying Triclops was a human mutant slave who claimed to be the son of Emperor Palpatine. It's possible this relation may not have been in a strict biological sense, and the Triclops was the implementation of Darth Plagueis' experiments and influence of midichlorians, with the goal of creating a zygote solely through the use of the Force in a fertile humanoid female. Now, that's probably more likely. That sounds like something Plagueis would do, or Palpatine would do, even. Hey man, Superstar. Oh man, I can't wait for that. I think it's coming out tomorrow. I can't wait for that, man. Oh, I can't wait for that. But there's retcon and a later EU thing. I don't know about it. From what Wikipedia states, it sounds like it. It had to have been a. Oh my gosh, my mom was watching my stream again. I hate it when she does that. She thinks it's funny. What was I reading? Sly Moore was rumored to have born Triclops. It was C canon. You know what else was only mentioned in guides? Crystal Star, but it was C canon. It was considered S canon back in the day. Oh my gosh, bro. She's really annoying me now. She's downstairs watching my stream on the TV. They're down there laughing. It's not funny at all. I want to block her from the stream. How can I do that? Block user. I'm gonna do that. She's been blocked. Just looked it up. Looks like it was recommended an article that came out in December 2013. So. I don't understand. Wait. Looks like it was retcon an article that came out. Canon's canon. Oh my gosh. I looked it up and Lucasfilm clarified what S canon is. They could never like. Chris Nelson did a really good video on it, so it never made sense anyway. I kind of ignore it, to be honest with you. Like I see the Marvel comics as C canon. I mean, anything before Zon relaunch. So Jedi Prince would be post Zon relaunch. Hence, yeah, came out right after. Jedi Prince is releasing concurrently with the Zon trilogy. So it was C canon. That's interesting. I've never heard that definition before. It's weird. I've never read the Jedi Prince. I have it. Just never read it. Definitely not. That's why the definition sucks, because it wasn't. It was included on timelines. Other books continuously mentioned it. So nah. See, that's that. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about that, definition actually sucks, because obviously it's not true. He was Splinter of the Mind's eyes, freaking C canon. So no, it was not S canon. It was C canon. You listen to any audio dramas? I have not. Not my thing. I think that it was the beginning with Heir to the Empire. There was a conscious effort going. That's true. But slowly over the years, all the pre-Zon stuff was included in the continuity, especially all the books. S canon is still canon. Matt will consider reveal all of the Marvel stuff, which is S canon. See, Matt has also said that the video games are S canon and that he only reviews C canon stuff. I don't know where he got the definition from that the games were S canon. I don't understand, but they weren't. They were C canon, and it was just alternate endings that weren't canon. So it's weird, but I don't know. He really should have just said, "I just don't play video games, so I'm not going to review them." He should have just said that instead of making that. Like, I love Matt, but I don't know what he's talking about. You realize it is possible for something to be elevated. I am aware of that. If another source brings, yeah, but what? When was that definition? Like, when did it come out? Meaning, like, when was it said? That'll tell us. Well, like, because if it was the early Zon days, well, it couldn't have been, because the hierarchy was made when the holocron was made, so it had to have been at least 2000. So Daly's Han Solo books could have started off as S canon. See, that's not possible, because his Han Solo books were mentioned. Like, they formed the backbone of A.C. Crispin's Han Solo trilogy, and that came out in the 90s. The hierarchy didn't exist yet. So, what about the many differences with the Dark Forces games? What do you mean? Like, the Dark Forces novellas in the games? The novellas take priority because they're books. If that's, I hope I answer that right. But yeah, I don't know. The novels were weird, but they were C canon. At least after A.C. Crispin's trilogy came out, they were C canon. Or I guess when her trilogy came out, it was just canon and non-canon. So it's weird. what what Marcel is saying is that the Daily Trilogy was S canon, became Elwood C canon. I know what he's saying, but like it couldn't have been S canon because it didn't exist yet. When the AC Crispin books were coming out, S canon didn't exist yet. This hierarchy was created in 2000 when we got the Holocron. When she was hired and we got the Holocron, that's when the hierarchy was created. And the AC Crispin books came out in the 90s. I get what he's saying, but it couldn't have been S canon even in the 90s, even after Zahn, because it didn't exist yet. The hierarchy came out at least from 2000 onward, because the hierarchy was a Leland Chi thing. It was a Lucasfilm thing, they used it, but it was more of a Chi thing, you know? So it was more something Leland Chi used. So he got hired in 2000. That's when the hierarchy came out, or the Holocron came out. So at least the hierarchy had to have been around at least starting with the 2000. And one of the reasons why they did create the hierarchy because contradictions were starting to appear. Gibbeline's saying, "Oh, I see what he's saying. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, you guys know me. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but yeah, that's, and I get what he was saying. It was fair, but I don't think that was the case. What do you think were missed opportunities from the EU? Books focusing on the 100-Year Darkness. Huge missed opportunity there. Others, obviously Sword of the Jedi, though that was just got rid of opportunity. The opportunity was taken, but they got rid of it. A book about Strain, a first-person novel from Strain's perspective. That's a missed opportunity. I would love to read a book about that. Strain was one of the early academy, or one of the early students at Luke's Academy. Which I looks on my Lobaka and Legacy. That's another one. I actually want to write a story about that, a short story, or I don't know, short story, comic, whatever. I don't really write comics, but because I have no artists. But Lobaka and Legacy, because he's a Wookiee, he lived for centuries. Trying to see with my books here. KOTOR 3, obviously. I don't know, I'm looking here. Maybe more stuff focusing on the Smugglers Alliance. That's something I've always kind of been fascinated with. Garmbella Bliss focused stuff. That would have been cool. Garmbella Bliss novel would have been neat. Nightfall trilogy in the NJO. I wish that came out. Just because it's NJO. Greg Keyes not getting more books than what he got. Greg Keyes was awesome. I loved his NJO stuff. Obviously finishing up the Dawn of the Jedi. Rakata, focusing more on that. I want to say Abeloth stuff, more about her backstory. But you could have kept it a mystery. That would be cool. I guess it really wasn't a mystery, but that would have been neat. See, I'm looking at my books. I'm trying to see what I'm missing here. Oh, I know. A book, trilogy, or series about the Krim-Levian War, which is the war between the Yuuzhan Vong and the different droids that I don't remember the droid names, but there was 2 droid species they fought against in their home galaxy. I want the war about that. I mean, a book series just about that. Like, oh my goodness! Imagine how good that would have been. how different it would have been. That's probably the biggest missed opportunity is books focusing about the Vong in their home galaxy. Or comics. Comics would have been fine too. I would have preferred books, but comics would have been fine too. That would have been great. I think that's probably the best answer I got for that question. Is more about, well, with books focusing on the Vong past. Like we've gotten guides that mention stuff, short stories that mention stuff, hyperspace fiction mention stuff, but we've never had books about it. Sword of the Jedi. School starts for me tomorrow. I also first time for me driving that. Hey, God bless you, bro. That's great. Wish you the best. First Schism. That's another good one. I wanted actual novels slash comics about Zendor Schism. That doesn't ring a bell. I'm not sure what that is. Also about the Dai Bindu before the Tho Yor arrived. That's a good one. Tho Yor stuff was so cool. I would have liked to have more of a motive. Who built those ships? Why did they just start collecting Force sensitive at the time that they did? I want more of the why. I want more context. That's what I would have wanted. Thank you, Mom.
It looks so good on the TV. I can't help myself.
Get out.
Hang your stuff up.
I basically would have loved anything about the early history of the galaxy, the Zell Tong War, Centerpoint's origins. I was going to mention that. Stories about the Qua and the Ricotta. That's a good one. Alex, the god among us, is here. Sheev, Hardagrion, with yep, that was a great list. Even though I don't know what Zendor Schism is, you have to tell me what that is. Because I'm not sure. Hey, is that the first schism? Because I know that there was the first schism. I call it the Great Schism. And then there was the 100 Year Darkness, which is the second schism. A proper novel about Grievous, the closest we got was Labyrinth. Yeah. I never thought of that. I guess he never really got his own novel. Ventress getting her own book, that would have been cool. Just got home from work, nice. I did too about an hour ago. Maybe a novel focusing on Dash Rendar. I don't know. Rendar is cool, but I don't think he deserves his own novel. Plus, he has Shadows of the Empire, so it's like. I mean, I like Dash. I don't think he's a bad character. I just don't think he's novel worthy. Zendor Schism. Okay, that's what I thought it was. Zim the. Is it Despo? I want to say Despot, but I know that's not right. Zim the Despo is described in daily shows. Yeah, that's a good one. Zim, I've heard is very. I've heard a lot of interesting stuff about him. I want to know more about him. Shadow Game says Dash as a main character. I've heard. I've not read it though. I don't even have that book in my collection. It's wonderful. That's what I can tell. Despot? Are you sure that's how that print? I've never heard it. I don't know. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I've never heard it pronounced like that. What's a character that made one appearance who would want to know more? Karana T from the Jedi Academy trilogy. Instantly. She was a Night Sister who became a Jedi. I want to know more about her. Other characters, Tekli. Well, nah, I guess she had a lot more. Tekli was Sugal's apprentice. I think it's Galandro. Guess that's one. Galandro from Daily Trilogy. Revan. How? Just kidding. Revan don't count. George Cardis from Zahn's books. I know he didn't. I know he made more than one. He made a couple of appearances, but he was cool. I remember liking him a lot. Ikarit. Again, he didn't make one appearance; he made just a few. But Ygritte, I would have loved to have known his backstory, more about his backstory, more about his relationship with Yoda, and because remember, he's a Padawan of Yoda. So, well, I guess they all were, but he was one of the more direct ones, like Dooku was.
I pretty much know everything. Like,
Confirm it's a good novel. Shadow Games? That's what I've heard. I want to see Nat Wreath from Galactic Battlegrounds. Is that a computer game? I've never heard of that game. Strax, to answer your question, Cassian Andor. I've always said this. I've been saying this for a while now, but I keep forgetting about that show. I keep forgetting that's coming up, and that's not good. Because all the other shows I've kind of looked forward to, even Kenobi, Bad Batch, even Book of Boba Fett. I looked forward to those shows. I didn't like any of them, but I looked forward to them. People think I go into these. No, I don't go into to hate it. I'm going to watch Andor. I want to like it. I don't think I'm going to because of the past record that Lucasfilm had. But Andor's kind of different. It's being made by different people. It's being made by. I mean, it's being made by Lucasfilm, but it's being like the writers are different. Stuff like that. So, I mean, visually, it looks a lot better than all the others, and it's because they're not using the stupid volume. I should say the volume could be used. There's definitely times when it's called for, and it's fantastic technology. It's just the overuse of it. It makes it look fake because it's what it is. It's fake. There is no getting around practical effects, practical sets. There is no getting around that. If you want your sets to look real, do it practically. Don't do a screen that just shows images or a green screen. Don't do any of that. It has to be practical if you want it to look real. If it's not practical, it's not going to look real. I mean, it's just how it is because it's not real. Just kidding. We know. He's been in this fight since 6 years old. I've never understood that. Like, he's been in that fight for that long since. Okay, like how did he get involved? I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Blue Pig, what's up? I'm hyped as frick for Andor. What would be an appropriate use for volume if there's like for example like Crate, for example, from The Last Jedi. That would have been a good use for it because it's like I guess they did make it, but like sets that are really like maybe sets that are either impossible to create, like if it's a like completely unique like Felucia, for example. We can't really create that in real life because that kind of environment doesn't exist. So that would have been a good use for environments that are not real, or environments that would just be really hard to make, like for like snow, for example. If it's a snowy world, that would be really challenging to work with because of how cold it is, and it's just snow and it's just sticky and it doesn't work. I mean, it can, but it's hard. So that would be a good use for it. But using it just because you don't want to use practical sets, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you look and you see how good Andor already looks in the trailers. It visually, not story. Don't get me wrong. Narratively, it doesn't look good at all. But I say it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look like anything to me. But the visual effects of the show look way better than all the others because they're not using the volume. And it actually looks like it has a high budget, but it's brown and gray. Wish it had more vibrant color. Yeah, I guess I can see that, but I guess they've all had high budgets. So, man, I don't really care about Rogue One, and they took arguably the least interesting character in that movie and gave him 24 episodes. Yeah, I know. Heard of Warhammer? Sounds familiar. Cody, trust me, the color palette is intentional. That's probably true. Probably just set kind of a gritty tone. They should do an anthology show like Tales from Jabba's Palace or Tales from the Cantina. I don't want them to rip those books off, though. They'd be more tempted to do that if they did do that. Practical effects don't always turn out good. Real time show used to love it, but it looked like cheap and fake as Yeah, but again, the volume looked. I mean, it did not look right. I guess I really noticed it once you got it compared to something that is not using it. And of course, it doesn't always turn out good. But if you're trying to make the sets look as real as possible, which is the whole point of the volume, by the way, it's trying to make it look real. It's not going to be perfect. But if you want something to look real, use real sets. See, Stranger Things is such a good show visually because most of it's practical. Duffer Brothers do not that they don't like using it. If they don't have to use it, they won't. They won't use green screens. They won't use anything like that. If they can use practical effects, they will. That's why that show looks so good. Anthology Imperial show, that'd be cool. Book of Boba and Kenobi had high budgets, but they looked cheap. Mando was on. Yeah, Mando did look really good though. Plus, what I really hate about Book of Boba and Kenobi is when you're looking at Mos Eisley or Mos Espa, there's rarely any aliens. But you look at the original trilogy, aliens everywhere. I hated that too. And there's no excuse for that. They can put more aliens. They can make more costumes. If not, use CGI if you have to. They don't have to. They're lazy, but they're lazy either way. But there should have been more aliens. Give 1 star for each Imperial we see in movies, and each from the canon books like Ray Sloane. Ray Sloane is a Thrawn ripoff. Actually, more of a Isar ripoff. Not gonna lie. Sorry, that's my opinion. Sticking to it. Trying to figure out your accent, but I can't quite figure it out. Southern United States, try that. It's a mix. I'm from Northeast Texas. So it's southern, but it's also more northern as well. So it's kind of a little bit of both, mixture of both. Pick, I'd be interested in that. I mean, that'd be cool, yeah. What he said. I just don't really care for Ray Sloane. Sorry if that. It would look interesting. That would be interesting. My issue with Book of Boba and Obi-Wan is terrible, lazy writing. Me too. Wilkins accent. Nah, he's from Louisiana. I'm not from there. Not from Louisiana. His accent's a lot more southern than mine. Southern is the wrong word, but it's thicker than what mine is. Yeah, he's from Louisiana. He lives in Louisiana. So he's from that area. Yes, and it was the dumbest thing I ever read. This is what Filoni is doing to the fandom. This is how Filoni is causing fans to view stories. Not as stories, not as, individual stories in a larger universe, but as merely just a freaking popcorn bowl full of familiar faces and fan service. That's what Filoni is now causing the fandom to view stories, and I hate it. I hate it because it's dumb. Oh, I haven't. Oh, I may just order them all once all 1, 2, and 3 get on there. Because remember, I'm not getting 4 because it's just fan fiction. I'm not interested in that, but I have not got it yet. I'm not ordered. I need to order it soon though. Maybe I get paid next Wednesday, so I'll probably order it then. Grievous tweet? Yeah, there was a tweet that someone made that if they did a Kenobi season 2, they should revive Grievous and make him the villain. It was a really popular tweet, but it was a really stupid tweet. And thankfully, there was actually a lot of people. There was a lot of people that gave that person crap over that tweet. thankfully. But a lot of people still liked it, and that's a problem. Big, I thought, come on, I thought 2 wasn't. I didn't know that either. You're a completionist, right? I don't want to call myself a completionist. Now, in terms of novels and comics, yes, I do want to collect all the novels and all the comics. Comics are going to be a lot harder, but I want to collect all the books. In terms of short stories, other short fiction, not necessarily. I can skip over that. I'll probably start reading all the short stuff, short fiction and whatever, once I read everything else. And if I have nothing else big to read, I'll start focusing on the short stories. But I mean, I've read a couple of short stories. I've read Recovery. I've read Boba Fett, Path of Destruction. No, Boba Fett, a Practical Man. I've read a couple other New Jedi Order short stories, but I haven't really read anything outside of that. Serious, yeah, I know. But I do want to get that stuff because there is some hyperspace fiction in there that I do want to read. So that's one of the reasons why I want to collect. I want to collect those and get those. Get them in my collection. Brevin Kist, it is. I bet Maul is going to be the villain of season 2. Probably. What do you do for your job? I host at Applebee's. I am a host. Host / busboy / runner. I do all three of that. Mainly busing, but I do run if they need me to, which is a lot of the time. We're not a super big restaurant, so we really don't have like separate bussers or separate runners. I take people's drink orders if I'm asked to. So I do a little bit of, not a little bit of everything, but I do a lot. More of like a helper, if that makes sense. But I get paid really well for it. And people love me up there, so. Some people say so many Jedi surviving diminishes Luke's importance. What are your thoughts? I agree to an extent. I think it's natural for a couple Jedi to survive. There was 10,000 Jedi. It's impossible for them to kill every single one. There's so many. A couple, 1 or 2, 3 or 4, I'm fine with. But if it's like 30 or 40, no, that's too much. But I guess, see, those other Jedi were probably not, like the ones that survive, were probably not practicing Jedi. That makes it practicing Jedi. Or they became Dark Jedi, or like Camp Solasar, or so, however you say his name, from Dark Empire. He became a Dark Jedi, and he was redeemed by Luke. But typically, a lot of the Jedi afterwards, they became farmers, or they became basically recluses. But Luke didn't, of course. He was trained as a Jedi, and he, lived as a Jedi for a couple of years. So, to a degree, I do think it does, because Luke is the last Jedi, right? Well, I guess he's not the last of the old Jedi. He's the first of the new. So that's a reference, but I don't know. That's an interesting question. Yes and no, I'll say that. Did the Applebee's incident from Cobra Kai happen? I'm not sure what that is. I've only been working there a couple months. But I've never heard of anything like that. Cobra Kai incident? Strax and diminished Luke's importance because only Luke could redeem Vader. That's true. That's true, but in terms of like the Jedi and its history, it could. But yeah, only Luke could have redeemed Vader. Maybe Leia could have too. I feel like Leia could have as well. It's nothing that she did though. She's also Vader's child. I mean, look at the End of Return of the Jedi. One of the things, one of his last words Vader says to, or Anakin by that point, says to Luke is, "Tell your sister, that I'm good." Because he loved her as well, and he wanted Leia to know that he was, he was good. And then we see in the Truce of Bakura, spoiler alert for the book, but Anakin appears to Leia in that book to basically tell her that he's sorry. So I think Leia could have redeemed him as well. Rule of 2 versus 1 Sith. It's a good one. 1 Sith, there's more of them. Plus, Crate is one of the more powerful Siths. Maybe not as powerful as Palpatine. See, a lot of people have asked me, who do I think the most powerful Sith is? Besides, like, Vitiate, Vitiate, Valkorin, whatever you want to call him, I'd probably say Caedus. I'm serious. I think Caedus is the most powerful Sith. More powerful than Palpatine, more powerful than Vader. Oh, come on. I think Leia could have as well, but the guy tortured her, so she was more prone to fall to the dark side. Yeah, but like if things had worked out differently, I think she could have redeemed Vader. But that is true. She had that personal vendetta against Vader because of everything he had done. So, because, he affected her personally, Luke not necessarily. So that makes sense. Choose a course, so great. It's good. It's interesting. The first time I read it, I didn't really care for it, but the more I thought of it, I'm like, that was actually pretty good. It's one of those books, for me. Love that a Tatooine's Ghost. She completely recommend. Yeah, I've always described. If I can find this book, and then I've read all 3 of these. I've kind of always, and you guys know me, I'm a big Anakin Solo fan. But these 3 books, I kind of feel that that's Courtship of Princess Leia, if you couldn't tell. They've all kind of felt like to me when I read them that they were very Leia focused, and that they are really focusing on her, trying to get over Anakin. And this obviously has a big impact, I think, for Dark Empire when she names her third child, second son, after Anakin. So I think these books kind of play a role in that. One of those examples of the continuity there. Also, this has a bookmark in it because there's a short story in here. I have read this whole thing, so, and I really liked Tatooine Ghost. Probably out of the 3, I feel like Tatooine Ghost was the best. I know that's a Del Rey book, but it honestly reads a lot like a Bantam book, to be honest with you. So, which is good because I love the Bantam stuff a lot. So, Bakor is very underrated. I would agree with that. Dark Empire, Palpatine included. Yes. Willing to name her youngest after her father. Bakor is just average. Kind of weird to ask me. Argery, Lance, OMG. Feel so vindicated, not vindicted. I don't think he could beat Vitiate, but he wasn't much more powerful than Vader or Palpatine, at least by the time of darkness. I feel like he could have beat Vitiate. I feel like he could have. Not by the end. When he reached oneness, he was the most powerful being in Star Wars. Caedus hot takes here. I'm unapologetic. I think he's the most powerful Sith in Star Wars. I don't think you can get more powerful than him. And here's why. First of all, he's the grandson of Anakin Skywalker. So he's the son of Leia, who herself is just as powerful as Luke, if not more. He was trained by Luke. Who else trained him? I know there was more. I feel like there was more. I know Luke did, of course. I guess not. I guess it was just Jaina who was trained by more. Mara and Kip. But he was trained by Luke. Then he reached oneness, right? And fought all those Vong during the war. He got a lot of training from Vergir. Then he, of course, had those 10 years where he was kind of researching different force organizations and things of that nature. Then he turns to the dark side and is being taught by Lamia. Who's Lamia? She was an Emperor's Hand, and a secret apprentice to Vader. I don't know if it was secret, but she was an apprentice to Vader. Basically, the Gamma for the Empire. She was trained by both by Vader and Sidious. And then she trained Cadus. So I think Cadus, I mean, and you see what he did in Legacy of the Force. You saw what he did in NGO. I mean, come on. He is so more powerful than them. That's true. But he's beaten by Jaina. There were some odds against Cadus, though. Jaina had Mandalorian training. Cadus had been stabbed. So, yeah, from what I've been told, he didn't want to kill her. Yeah. If Cadus was in his prime, and if he hated Jaina, he would have destroyed her, no doubt, even with the Mandalorian training, even with being stabbed. I think Cadus, but, plus Jaina has a little bit of plot armor. I thought it was pronounced Lamia. Lamia. I say Lamia. I think Lamia sounds better. And also, it's distracted because his wife and daughter aren't. To see that too. I don't know. I think he has, I just think he's the most powerful. Yeah, but Luke almost dismounted him. Even before. Luke was enraged. Luke was pissed off. Pissed. More pissed than he's probably ever been. Yeah, but we're also talking about Sith, too, though. Alex makes a good... now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, most powerful Sith. I'm not saying the most powerful Force user. Most powerful Force user is Abeloth. I mean, there's no denying that. But if we're talking about mortals, then Luke. Luke is the most powerful. If we're talking about mortal beings, not Celestials, we're talking about mortal beings, it's Luke. If we're talking about most powerful Sith, it's Cadus. But Luke is not a Sith, remember. He is the direct son of Anakin, but he's light side. If Luke went dark, yeah, if he went dark and if he became full Sith, most definitely. Right. Since Luke is a hero, Jason gets the title of most powerful. Yeah, most powerful Sith. So, full potential Anakin versus hypothetical Mortis and Luke. He doesn't even have to be Mortis amped, I don't think. I'm one of those people that are in the camp that Luke is more powerful than Anakin. Not because Luke actually reached his prime, unlike Anakin. I just think he's just more powerful in general, prime or not. Maybe not prime or not, that's weird, but I think he had more potential than Anakin. He's probably top 3 Force shooter of that era. I mean, against Luke, yeah, pretty much everyone loses. Yeah. Except Abeloth. And that's what I really like about Abeloth. It gave Luke a challenge. Luke couldn't defeat her on his own. And that's what I really like about Abeloth. People crap all over. Abeloth, it gave Luke a challenge. You'll complain Luke is too powerful and that he's a Gary. So you give him a challenge that he can't win against, and you have a problem with that. Yeah, all this stuff was unbalanced. Good thing it was never canon. Objectively incorrect. Except with Waru. Yeah, Waru is more powerful than Abeloth. Waru is Abeloth. How about that? Imagine if, that was actually retconned to be a thing. I'm sleepy, bros. It's 10:40. Means I gotta go to bed soon. I don't want to go to bed. I need to, though. I got school tomorrow, but I don't want to. Don't screenshot this. At the Blue Pig, don't. y'all, I don't know if y'all, I know Alex has seen this. Y'all have never seen me in a debate against an EU hater, have y'all? I mean, I am vicious. I will shred them to tears. Not tears, but I will shred them to bits. I will shred them to their skeletons in a debate. Alex, you've seen me on Twitter, man. I don't hold back. I will get all over you if you say something stupid. I mean, people like you take it. I do take it seriously because I love the story. The story has gotten me through so much, and I'll be damned if I see it lied about. This is like if I was spreading lies about what's something popular, the MCU. If I was spreading stupid crap about the MCU that's not true. Oh, this thing is not canon. That, whatever. If I was saying that stupid stuff, I would get crucified for that. No pun intended. But same thing with this. Seen it on Twitter. I don't hold back. I mean, I'm a much more different person on Instagram. You've probably seen that. But Twitter, I use kind of more for apologetics and defending the EU. Instagram and YouTube, clearly, I use more for celebrating the EU and loving it and talking about its glory. Lance, when you going back to Darkness, I've been thinking about it, man. I've been thinking about it. I just want to read other stuff, you know. I went through a whole year reading NJO, and I loved it. But I want to read some other stuff. I mean, currently I'm reading Bounty Hunter Wars. I got some comics. Bounty Hunter Wars, I don't know when I'm going to finish it. I need to find a day to sit down and do it, finish it. And yeah, the Jason stuff in the first book was actually pretty good. I will give Dinning that. But the first book was just such a turnoff. So boring. Because I didn't give a crap about anything that was going on in that book. Didn't care. Lance goes full dark side. Yeah. I mean, all of Noah's server cringes, but again, who cares about what his server says, bro? He's a Tom Holland lookalike. Who cares what he has to say? Oh, I don't. You know, with my haircut, my hair the way it is, people say I look like that one kid from Mr. The Incredibles. The fast kid, I don't remember his name. People say I look like him. We never got a birth date for Grievous. How old do you think he's probably in his 30s, to be honest with you. 30s, 40s. By the Clone Wars. That's what I was. Maybe 50s, maybe. But I like to imagine him younger. It just makes the whole coughing thing more ironic. I think it's funny if he was younger. Lance should go to war with Noah. I'm good. Who's Noah? It's Quality Autism. He's on YouTube. He makes EU stuff. He's a Denny hater. I've never spoken to the guy. Y'all always talk to him as if I know him. I've never spoken to him. Yeah, Alex, you want me to like Darkness? I'll go afraid. All right. Go. Yeah, don't be afraid. Oh, God, Bounty Hunter. He does. Name was Dash. Yeah, that's ironic. I thought you were talking about Dash Runner, but yeah, people say I look like him because of my hair. Which I'm cool with. I mean, he was cool, so. PTSD. I didn't give a crap about anything going on in that book. It's funny when you guys quote me. Basically, my review 85%. I don't know why you put yourself through that, man. So I just didn't care. I really did. I didn't care about the Killix. I didn't care about. I love Raynar Thol. I already knew what happened to him anyway. If I didn't know what had happened, because I was spoiled, I guess. But if I didn't know what happened to Raynar Thol, I probably would care a little bit more. Because that is continuing a storyline from Star by Star, but I see it. I've seen his Force reviews. Actually, more negative than positive about Fate. That's interesting. It has mixed things. I think I'm more excited for Fate than I am Legacy. Fair enough, but I don't criticize the novels for that very reason because I don't read them, so I don't criticize them. I mean, have you ever seen me? I don't criticize the books because I haven't read the books. Now the shows do criticize that because I watch them. Just getting up on myself through it because I love Star Wars. And I'm trying. Yeah, I don't know. I've lost any sort of hope for the new canon. It's digging itself a hole and it's continuing to dig that hole and it's going to throw itself in it and then bury itself. At least as long as Filoni's in charge. He's not in charge, but as long as he's a part of it, the new canon's going to hell. Because the books, the authors, from what I've been told, they kind of modeled their stories after Filoni. They put Filoni-like things in their books. They put Filoni characters in their books. So, Legacy has Alston, so it's definitely better than Dark Nest. Fair enough. Aaron Alston, he's a legend. Well, guys, I've been streaming for about an hour, a little over an hour now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go to bed. It was a lot of fun for y'all to join. I love y'all. Y'all are the greatest. Y'all are what I look forward to after school. So rather I speak with y'all on Instagram, YouTube, Discord, or whatever it may be. Y'all are one of the brightest joys in my life. So are these books. So thank y'all so much for joining. Y'all are great. Next time I'm going to stream, I don't know when, to be honest. I work most of the week. Friday I don't work, but I'm doing something else, a school thing I'm doing. So I'm off. I would say off, but I am working that week or that day. Did I say working? I'm not working. Not at work, but I am working, if that makes sense. Doing something for work, for school. But yeah, so, and then I'm off. The next time I'm off is Monday. So I'm working the rest of the week. Maybe Sunday afternoon. Or Sunday, afternoon. That'll work. Because I got church and then I got to work later that day. But with school, obviously, I can't really work. Or I can't really stream. Because, when I'm done with school, I come home and I get ready for work. So, anyway, y'all have an excellent, excellent night.